What we need to do is start to figure out how we can, I think, especially for the next generation of kids, how to teach them to regulate their nervous system so that they recognize that pulse of adrenaline as placing them in a compromised position. Like, we have to leverage the idea that being able to hear and listen hinges on the ability to be calm. So therefore, the ability to be calm is crucial to hearing and listening is crucial to our advancement as individuals and as groups. The problem is everyone's been trying to do this backwards. They've said we all have to get along. We have to cancel culture. We all have to, listen to one another. And I think, again, we have to start from the inside. We have to teach it physiologically. Now, I don't have a master plan on how to do that, but one of the reasons I'm here and one of the reasons I'm, teaching neuroscience on Instagram and not just in my laboratory is until we can learn to regulate the self, I don't think we're going to get where we want to go as a culture. What we need to do.
Do you agree with Dr. Huberman that changing the world is an inside job? Or do you agree that cancel culture is the way to create an emotionally mature, healthy society? I'm going to argue the former, but I want you to make your own decision. I'm Carrie Blazer, the Divine Feminine. My soul's name is Sophia. And in general, I'm sharing my free ebook, my 6 Divine Feminine Self-Love Strategies to help everyone self-reflect. And one of my teachings is changing the world is an inside job. I rely on neuroscience, psychology, shamanism, cardiology, mysticism, because what I learned is that when something's true, it's true in multiple places. So today I'm gonna share a video, do a reaction video regarding a college debate. They were doing epistemology, and we have both sides. We have 2 women who are more conservative, and then 2 women who are quite left-leaning. And we're gonna see which ones are more mentally healthy. So let me share my screen and let's get going with that video because I find it fascinating. As you see, is Warren Smith's YouTube channel. He'll be giving his commentary as well. And I like it that we're complementary. He's a man, so he's left brain. What is logical? I'm a woman, I'm right brain, so I focus on self-reflection. Let's get started.
I don't know how I did not see this sooner. I couldn't resist. This is too good. You have 2 students disagree, 3 students, they are adamant, and things suddenly just pop off.
I'm not willing to open my mind to be a bigoted piece of shit, no. So you think anyone who does not have the same opinion as you is a bigoted?
Trans women should not be able to compete in women's sports has transphobic beliefs. Point blank, period. Trans women are women. Therefore, they compete in women's sports. Like, that's really just like the end of conversation.
This is the rage that you face when there's a logical breakdown.
There's some sort of...
I love that he points that out. So epistemology is reasoning. And so this social experiment that is being done is seeing if people can consider someone else's point of view. Can we have civil discourse and realize that they're making valid points and the other side is making valid points? And are we capable of meeting in the middle? The left accuses the Trump administration of being authoritarian. Did what the woman in the blue sweatshirt just say, was that authoritarian?
Bias that you definitely do need to work through and actually listen to something we're saying. It doesn't matter if we're getting heightened in emotion because we're passionate about something. That should make you want to listen more, and it shouldn't make you want to smirk and act like, oh my goodness, you contradicted yourself, la 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 la.
The other 2 students don't care. You can see their faces. Coincidentally, they're the rational ones.
No, you guys are like, what's the point of it? My point for coming over here and participating in this is because I'm very open-minded and I like hearing other people's points of views, and I'm not very, I don't just shut people down when they have an opinion and start calling them names.
They're used to being on a college campus where you cannot question this stuff. Someone like Peter arrives and questions it. They are outraged by this. They become very hostile.
I have a question.
He made a very good point. They're on a college campus and they're used to not being questioned. Are those people capable of independent thought, or are they mouthpiece for an indoctrination campaign? I'm letting you make your own decisions. I'm just going to ask questions. This is the feminine. This is the self-reflection. So I really love working off of Warren, showing the value of both sides and emphasizing that when something's true, it's true in multiple places.
What the fuck is the point of this? Like, what is the goal of this?
What is the goal of what?
Yeah, what's the goal of this? Of us talking?
What is your motivation? Are your intentions noble enough for you to even have permission to run this thought experiment?
Like, what is your goal in doing all of this?
Well, my goal is to figure out if the lines you're on are the lines that you should be on the basis of the reasons you have.
So you don't even care about, like, adding to the narrative, understanding social consciousness, or like social feelings towards this question. You just want to know if we get the facts straight enough to be on the correct line.
No, it has nothing to do with fact. Well, it's a little to do with fact, but doesn't really have to do with facts. It has to do with reasoning.
So you're just curious on individual reasoning.
It's epistemology. It's to analyze the validity of your own thinking.
Because I don't know what you're adding to.
So I have to tell you that I have a master's degree in East Asian religious studies. The first course that I took, that I changed my major when I got to UCSB, was the history of Zen Buddhism. It fulfilled a GE, it was open, so I took it. And I learned critical thinking skills. And because I learned critical thinking skills, I changed my major. That's how important critical thinking skills. How can you self-reflect if you don't have critical thinking skills? If your only kind of solution to confronting someone who doesn't agree with you is cancel that, you're wrong, cancel. I mean, it's like you're a heretic. It's like the Christian religion. We're right, you're wrong, you're the heretic.
Like the social.
Absolutely nothing. I'm adding nothing.
So then why are you like, because like this question just opens up the floor for like transphobic people to spread transphobic rhetoric.
If we allow an experiment like this, we're opening up the potential for transphobic people to talk. According to your logic, it must be shut down.
I mean, it's a very codependent mindset. And I brought up Christianity for a reason, because Christianity, the Christian worldview, has an external locus of control. An external locus of control in psychology sets us up for the victim mindset. I'm subservient, but I'm unhappy, so okay, now I'm the victim. But when we have an internal locus of control, which I will argue with the laws of physics after this video and show you how this works, then we take accountability for our challenges. We don't try to cancel everyone else around us, because we understand that we live in a holographic universe, that the universe is a mirror showing us ourselves in every moment. So when I say you're selfish, when I perceive selfishness outside of myself, that is my soul showing me the selfishness inside of myself. So I argue that these two are virtue signaling, and that deep down, they're afraid of the whole trans thing too, because they're constantly projecting transphobia from where? From inside themselves. The universe is a mirror. We're going to get into that afterwards, because that is the best self-reflection technique that I know.
So like, why would you do that? Like, what is the point of this? Why would you risk adding transphobia to the world when like you just like didn't need to?
So do you think these questions are better off not talked about?
No, I think they should be better facilitated.
Okay, what would that look like? What should I do according to you?
What could I do to facilitate the question better?
Well, have a clearer goal in mind. Like I've asked you, like, what's your goal?
I just told you the goal. It's epistemology.
Your goal is just nothing. Like, no one's going to convince a transphobic person that trans women should be able to compete in sports. If they were going to be convinced of that, they should have already been convinced by that.
So everything's just static. There's no change. I mean, the only thing constant in life is change. The way energy stays alive is through change, is through moving, learn to surf the waves of life. Another piece of my ebook below, there's 6 divine feminine self-love strategies. They are appreciate, learn, forgive, love hierarchy, learn to surf the waves of life. The universe is a mirror. Changing the world is an inside job, and pain is an initiation process for personal growth, evidenced by so much psychology, cultural anthropology. I mean, the healthiest Men, the societies that produce the healthiest men have a rigorous kind of masculinity test that they have to go through to kind of break out their masculinity. And Rumi, a mystic, said, you have to break your heart to open your heart. The wound is where the light shines for healing purposes. That's how, when we break open our emotions, we expand our emotional range, but we have to break our heart to do it.
Been a big topic. Clearly, I'm not going to change my mind because I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, like let me be transphobic real quick.
So therefore, we just shouldn't have the conversation because nothing in the world will change your mind. You are so sure that you are right.
So like, what is the definition of transphobia?
Transphobia is when you exclude trans people. Transphobia is when you do not believe that trans people are really the identity they identify with.
But when we say there's a women's basketball league, we're excluding men. That doesn't mean you're male phobic.
You have a definition?
No,
Okay,
we're
hold
not
on,
using
hold
a
on.
Google definition. Hold on. This pisses me off. We're not using a Google definition. Hold on. We're not using a Google definition to describe transphobia because this is exactly like when you say white people can't be racist and they pull the definition of racism and they're like, oh no, but here it says racism is blah 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 blah. Google definition can literally not define something that you literally have spent years studying.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Are you convinced that her definition of transphobia is like to say that the exclusion thing was the thing that got me? It can be anything anybody wants it to be. It can be a pastrami sandwiches if someone wants it to be.
No.
They can't define anything they
You
want
can't
to be?
define it as a pastrami sandwich.
But this is the student who is just arguing that there's no need to look up the actual definition of transphobia.
That's a joke.
I mean, that it's like cognitive dissonance. She's not secure in herself. I mean, as a college student, why can't she be calm during this conversation? You know, and we heard the woman in the beanie say, well, the louder I scream should make you want to listen to me more. Well, why would I want to listen to an emotionally dysregulated person who's spewing their hate out of their heart, their fear, their guilt, and their shame? It's like, I don't want to be around that. I have healthy personal boundaries. But how can these women have a relationship? It's like, only if we completely agree, then you could be around me. Does that sound like a child who was raised in a healthy family who went through the individuation process well? Because that's what growing up is. We need to be attached to our parents, and slowly but surely we show our authenticity in a healthy environment. We calibrate our nervous system for love, compassion, and enlightenment so we're not super reactive. When our nervous system is calibrated for fear, guilt, and shame, then we're in fight or flight constantly, and we're reactive just like this. And you see the women across the way, they're talking in a calm, mature manner.
Like, that's literally a joke. Like, I'm sorry, that's a joke.
Anybody can define anything the way they want it. There's no...
No, that's not how words work. Words have meaning.
But she tried to look it up in Google, and you told her that wasn't how to adjudicate the meanings of words.
My point in that was that Google definitions cannot adequately describe and explain such a nuanced topic. I didn't say it can't be defined. I just said that Google definitions wasn't going to have a...
Who does give the right definition then? Which definition is correct? How can we...
Hold on. And I don't think there's ever the most concrete definitions when it comes to nuanced topics. However, you can't just be defining words however you want. And you know that for a fact. Colloquially, things mean things. And colloquially, we all know what that shit means.
She's walking right into it. You can probably already see what's coming. Oh, you mean like men and women?
You cannot describe it as a pastrami sandwich. There is very clear parameters that you can work within. You might disagree on specific nuances, but the overall, like, you can't just describe anything as anything. Words have meaning for a reason.
Like man and woman.
And this just sends her over the edge.
Yeah, trans women are women. Like, I don't... See, you keep trying to get people like, caught up. What is your point? Like, what is your point? Like, this is kind of a joke. Because you could just said...
I know your point. You just want to try to catch us in a contradiction.
To be fair, that is the point of epistemology, to find contradictions in your thinking.
And you
These two women are very busy being right. And I've learned that when people are busy being right, they don't take time to self-reflect. And why is that? Their heart is closed down and their brain is overactive. And we're going to get into that after the video, why that happens. But why would you want to go into your heart when it's full of fear, guilt, and shame. And so you're not grounded in self. You're over here, and then you're over here, and then you're over here, because it's heart avoidance.
Have literally no reason to be doing this whatsoever.
Yeah.
You're trying to prove a gotcha. Ooh, you have no idea what you're talking about, silly liberals and your silly trans people, instead of just not being a dick.
Who is behaving like a dick here? The students over there, Peter, or you guys?
I know you guys are like, what's the point of it? My point for coming over here and participating in this is because I'm very open-minded and I like hearing other people's points of views, and I'm not very I don't just shut people down when they have an opinion and start calling them names.
What if I told you that the censored medicine that saved millions during the pandemic was being made most?
Okay, here we go.
You're laughing, and I see both of you. Don't make that face, because I literally see what you're doing. I'm not an idiot.
Because they can't contend with the logic, they make it about microaggression.
They triangulate. It's bullying. I can't win, so you're wrong this way. I can't win, so everyone agrees with me. Or no one would say that, as if they've talked to 8 billion people around the globe and have verified such. But it's a fight or flight mechanism. I mean, how many times have you been in a discussion or argument with someone and then they try to pull someone else in to win? It's like, we're going to gang up on you. I had that happen to me with my parents when I was a child.
Expressions, body language.
And when I say that you're a transphobe, that's something in yourself that you do need to work on, because that
Can you
is
define that?
underlying.
Can you define that?
What, underlying?
No, that I got from what you said. I thought your explanation was excellent. A transphobe, because I got her definition. What's yours?
Transphobe is what I said. So transphobe is someone that is adding to a system to put other trans individuals down, whether it be conscious or unconscious. There's some sort of bias that you definitely do need to work through.
It's the same line of attack they use with racism. Well, you're a racist. You don't know that you're a racist, but I know what you think better than you do.
It doesn't matter if we're getting...
The universe is a mirror. This is why it works this way. We're souls having a human experience, multidimensional beings. This is why Christianity taught love thy enemy, because Christianity at its core, like the inner Christians, was about inner authority. But in the 4th century, when they created Christianity, there was the rise of nation states, external authority, and they needed a religion to mirror that. But if we don't have inner authority, we don't take responsibility for ourselves, how do we expand our emotional range and become healthy, mature adults? As we're seeing, it's very difficult because, I'm in this group, you're in that group, it's tribalism. And if you're not in the right group, you're a heretic. And how many heretics did Christianity kill? How many heretics have Islam killed?
Heightened in emotion because we're passionate about something. That should make you want to listen more, and it shouldn't make you want to smirk and act like, oh my goodness, you contradicted yourself, la 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 la.
You're strongly agree, and you're strongly agree. What would it take you to move to the agree line?
You can already guess what they're going to say. Nothing in this universe would change my mind.
Let me go I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 because I haven't. Yeah.
You asked me this already, and I told you nothing.
Okay. What would it take you to move to the agree line?
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Would you say absolutely nothing or
Yeah,
nothing?
absolutely nothing.
And once again, they're going to try and attack Peter's motivations.
Why do you think you should be the one to facilitate this conversation when you don't even care about sports?
Okay, but this echoes far beyond sports.
But you don't care about sports. Sports.
Correct. I don't care about any sports with a ball.
Do you care about trans women?
What do you mean?
What does it mean to care? I care about everyone equally.
Do you care about trans women and trans women issues? And
Like, give me any. What do you mean?
And protecting trans women. What do you mean? What do I mean? Answer. It's a straightforward question.
That's actually not a straightforward
do
question.
you care about trans women? Do you
But
care
there's
about
the projection. It's a straightforward question because it's straightforward to me. It's black and white. The universe is a mirror.
the issues they face? Do you care about being a good ally to trans women? Do you care about trans women?
I was up with you until you used the word ally.
In their pursuit of compassion, they are able to be quite rude.
At your biblical age, are you
55.
really biblical? Are you telling
What do you mean biblical?
It means you're older than the Bible. Do you really not know what ally means?
Not that old.
Do you really not know what ally means?
It depends what you mean. If you mean different people mean different things by ally.
I don't agree with attacking people personally, whether it's that he's old or that I'm sitting here smiling. I don't think that anything to do with this conversation has to do with how you treat other people. And if you're going to sit here and say you accept all people, then you need to sit here and accept all people.
I did not say I accept all people. I don't accept bigots. I don't accept racists.
Old people.
Yeah, old people like you because you're an ass. I accept older people who are open-minded, like my parents, per se, who are actually older than you. And I accept people who are willing to actually open their minds up.
I accept people who are allies to the cause. Everyone else is fair game for my.
I accept people in my tribe. Everyone else, F you. And that's progressive? Because what I realize with progressives is they live in a lot of fear, guilt, and shame, so their heart's closed down and they overactivate their brain, and then they focus on perfectionism, utopia, and they don't take responsibility for their problems because their heart and soul are closed down. That is because when we open our heart and our soul houses all of the wisdom and knowledge in the universe. So when we work from our heart and our soul, there's the progress. Like Stephen Hawking's. He used to say that math equations would just land in his brain. That's universal knowing. Einstein was the same way. It's an intuitive knowing. Men, masculinity, intuitive knowing. Women, intuitive wisdom. Because wisdom is about relationships. It's about self-reflection. It's about having a healthy relationship with yourself. And then that's mirrored in all your other relationships because the universe is a mirror. We live in a holographic universe. So we're going to hear from the woman in the beanie in a second that she deserves respect. Well, in a holographic universe, you get what you give. And does she give respect?
My rage.
Minded. Okay.
So you're accepting of people who are willing to open their minds, but yet you are not willing to open your mind for evidence that would take you to go to the agree line.
I'm not willing to open my mind to be a bigoted piece of shit. No.
Anyone who does not have the same opinion as you is a bigoted.
Trans women should not be able to compete in women's sports has transphobic beliefs. Point blank, period. Trans women are women. Therefore, they compete in women's sports. Like, that's really just like the end of conversation.
So that's our definition. Anyone who disagrees on the trans sports topic, you are automatically transphobic.
Like, there's really no like, oh, but like, the boys and then the girls and the testosterone. No, like, it's all based in transphobia. So it's not about like me believing in
there's
that.
no science. Like Google, it's an authority wound. Forget the science that male bodies are far stronger than female bodies, evidenced, by trans women, which are, biological men, participating in female sports and destroying the women. I mean, why aren't they standing up for the women? Why are trans women more important than biological? But when you're, engaged in identity politics, tribalism, you have to pick your tribe. So is her more important tribe trans women, or is the more important tribe women? And see, there's the cognitive dissonance.
It's not about me listening to the research. It's literally just called, like, I'm saying this line because I refuse to be transphobic.
It's not about facts or reasoning, because to be anything else would be immoral.
No, because I deserve to be respected and paid attention to. No, I will not take that blatant disrespect. Absolutely not.
How could you possibly expect someone to respect you when you behave like this towards them?
Go answer the question.
I'm next.
Oh, we are?
Okay, let's
And at this
stop it
point,
there.
the college
The college shut them down. I mean, if you can't explore differing opinions on a college campus, where are we supposed to do that? I mean, I really don't know. I love doing that. That's why I loved studying East Asian religious studies, because that's what it was all about. Critical thinking, analysis, pattern recognition. There was no black and white thinking. Dig deeper, think harder, read more books. Look at it from a new perspective. Learn, explore. But how can you explore when this is the way it is, that's it, done? There's no exploration. There's just stuckness. Okay, so now I'm going to show you why. I'll show you two things. The universe is a mirror, and we're going to learn how the heart is a vortex, which supports that we live in a holographic universe. And then we're going to see a fetal heart formed. And all of that science is going to kind of emphasize an Albert Einstein quote and a Tesla quote. Albert Einstein said, "The field is the sole governing agency of the particle." The field meaning the energy field. And in this situation, our humans have an energy field, like we're going to learn in the next video, and the particle meaning the body. And Tesla said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Like why and how can blood flow in a fetus before the heart is formed? And this is all mirrored in spirituality. The 5D, the spiritual, comes before the 3D. When something is true, it's true in multiple places. So let me bring up screen share, part of my presentation, so we can do a little bit deeper dive on how the universe is a mirror and why changing the world is an inside job. I can bring up one more physics experiment for that. So on the left, we have, laws of physics, but the map of consciousness by Dr. David R. Hawkins. And this was so helpful for me to understand enlightenment, that enlightenment is an emotion, because the first time I experienced enlightenment was 2 years ago. And even though I've lived in Chinese Buddhist monasteries, no one ever taught me that enlightenment is an emotion. So this really helped me understand things. And then I was sitting in my chair for 3 days, vibrating super high, and I was in great shape, and I lost 12 pounds because that's how high I was vibrating. And I had to understand why. And this is what showed it to me. So shame vibrates at 20 hertz. Where enlightenment vibrates between 700 or 1,000 hertz, or maybe even higher. So you can imagine that if my soul is vibrating my body that high, that's expending a lot of energy, right? You can see why I lost 12 pounds. And enlightenment is where I received profound wisdom and then faced catastrophic fears, because the highest vibrating energy is the most transformative. So the more you can work on yourself and open your heart, transform your wounds into wisdom, spend more time in love, peace, and enlightenment, then you will naturally transform yourself and then those around you, because energy naturally aligns with the highest vibrating energy. And I'll pull up in a second a 5 metrodome experiment. I'll just show you right now. So imagine 5 metrodomes, and the 2 in the middle are going the fastest. Within a minute, all of them are going the same speed as the fastest ones, because energy naturally aligns with the most transformative energy. But I'll bring it up in a sec. But let me start with this physics experiment, because this really explains why the universe is a mirror, showing me myself in every moment as a constant feedback loop for self-improvement, and how we live in a holographic universe. So let me share here. Oh. That didn't work. Sorry about that. So as you see here, it's 512 hertz and 440 hertz. They're not an energetic match. They don't resonate. There's no movement in the 440. But when he's going to now bring up a 440 tuning, the other one matches. One moves, the other happens when we're around other people. When my 40 hertz of selfishness starts to move, that will move other people's 40 hertz of selfishness. And there's the resonance. There's the energetic match, which could be perceived as a tribe. But what's going on is my soul, my energy body, is showing me myself so that I can improve. The universe is a mirror showing me myself in every moment as a constant feedback loop for self-improvement. That's the wisdom. Knowledge says we attract what we are through energetic resonance, meaning a vibrational match. Rumi said, what you seek seeks you. That's quantum physics. Like Rumi is fantastic, 13th century Sufi mystic, and people have done a lot of work on him. And he was communicating the wisdom because we didn't have the knowledge yet. but they've done a ton of research to show that it does match. Let me bring up that physics experiment and just show you real quick why changing the world is an inside job. So I agree with Dr. Andrew Huberman that canceling on the outside doesn't help us on the inside, even though that's what they say. It's a very codependent way of thinking, and we know codependent is not healthy. So this is called spontaneous synchronization, and I will share my screen. Here it goes. Oh, what? Sorry. I thought I had stopped sharing, but I didn't. Here we go. So watch number 2 and 3. The basket. And what happens to the other 3 quite quickly? And we're going to see how the synchronization happens when hearts are formed in the embryo. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, these 2 next videos have to be my favorite. Explaining first how the heart is a true vortex in our authority. I mean, the black holes are a vortex. That's creation, right? Creation is feminine. Heart emotions are feminine, and you can't command a vortex. But in Western society, we've been taught that men tell women what to do. Well, how, based on the laws of physics, can a man command a vortex? I'll leave you with that question. Here is the first one. Okay.
Let me just read this because I think it's actually probably one of the best descriptions of the heart that I've ever run across. They taught you the heart was just a glorified meat pump, that it squeezes and pushes blood like some crude mechanical device.
An external locus of control mirroring the Christian worldview.
A hydraulic engine made of flesh. That is what they want you to believe. Because if you buy into that primitive lie, you never ask deeper questions. But it is false. It has always been false. And the real science proves it. Dr. Francesco Torrenguas, a Spanish cardiac researcher, discovered what the textbooks refuse to acknowledge, that the heart is not a pump. He dissected thousands of hearts and found that the heart is a single continuous muscle band folded into a spiral. He proved that the heart works like a vortex generator, creating suction and torque, not pressure. He called it the helical ventricular myocardial band, and it changes everything. The real movement of the blood comes from pressure differentials, electromagnetic flow, and coherent resonance. The blood spirals naturally. It need not be forced through miles of arteries and capillaries. The so-called pump is not strong enough to push thick fluid through 60,000 miles of tubing. That is basic physics. That lie was dead on arrival. Here is the truth. Blood moves before the heart forms in the embryo. That is, by the way, a documented fact. It flows via frequency, resonance, and electric charge. The body is a field, not a factory. Your heart creates a toroidal electromagnetic field that radiates 6 meters from the body. This field syncs with the earth, the sun, and every living being around you. It is a resonator, a tuner, a conductor. It aligns the rhythm of your cells. It feels, it remembers, it emits, and it responds to emotion, thought, light, sound, and breath. When you feel love, grief, fear, or peace, your heart transmits it. It is the central frequency modulator of your biology, not a pump. And the institutions know this. The HeartMath Institute has measured these fields for decades. They know the heart has more neuronal cells than parts of the brain. They know it is a second brain. They know coherence in the heart transforms the entire nervous system. So why are
Let me stop. That is the best question. So I want to explain that further. The neurological structure in the heart is far more complex than the brain, and the heart sends far more signals to the brain than the other way around. Women first, right? Femininity first, right? Like the woman drops her handkerchief and the man decides what to do. We have to surrender to our emotions to climb our next mountain, learn to surf the waves of life. Because when we surrender to our emotions, that's when we build the kinetic energy, the momentum, the propulsion to transform our wounds into wisdom and catapult us to our next mountaintop, to use that wisdom and knowledge. So when our hearts are closed down, our brains are overactive and we get all these ideas, all these utopian ideas like, I don't want to be here. Let me think of something else. I don't want to be here. Can I go to heaven after I die? Well, I'm here to teach you that self-love creates heaven on earth. The heart's a vortex. We live in a holographic universe, so there's no other place to go. The universe is a projection of how we feel about ourselves. So when we all love ourselves and we all project love out of our hearts, then healthy boundaries naturally occur. Then compassion and enlightenment and love and peace naturally occur. It doesn't mean you'll never feel fear, guilt, and shame. Those emotions are necessary to take you down deep into your shadow, into your subconscious, process your fear, guilt, and shame, and pull more self-belief, more self-confidence out of your shadow. And I'm going to quote Carl Jung. I just love Carl Jung. One does not become enlightened by imagining beings of light, but by making their darkness conscious. Life's a projection. We live in a holographic universe. Now let's see how a heart is formed in the embryo. It's fantastic. Before the heart beats for the first time, something far greater begins to move. You see the pulse? Long before your heart ever beat, thousands of cardiac cells made a silent decision. There was no pulse, no rhythm, no sound. In the earliest stages of development, individual heart cells begin firing electrical signals on their own. Then something remarkable happens. They synchronize, like the 5 metronome. Okay? Separate impulses align into one coordinated electrical wave. That wave triggers the first contraction, the first heartbeat, the beginning of a rhythm that can last a lifetime. Well, I hope that these videos were helpful in you understanding how and why the universe is a mirror and why change is an inside job. That when we all learn to transform our emotional wounds into personal wisdom and become well-regulated, emotionally regulated adults, we'll be able to have civil discourse on a college campus. We won't have massive protests because people have authority wounds and they don't know how to address it. Those problems will go away, and I'm here to share that free ebook. So again, please like and subscribe my video because that will help my channel in the algorithm on YouTube distribute my videos to more people. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.